are in our next game. It's going to go on Habitation Station. Spawning up here in the top right, our blue Terran player finally got himself a win. Can he even the series up? From Team Unrivaled, it is Doc. And his opponent over in the top left in orange from CTsix. CTL Team 6. Let's try that again, right? It is Guluheend. Alright, so Guluheend tried something. He tried something. He tried pulling something out on that map. Did not quite work for him. But no matter. He did have a game to throw away, more or less. But, you know, when you lose a game like that, you can maybe throw you on tilt a little bit. Give the other player a chance to really bring it back. So we could be seeing an even series after this, or we could be seeing a 3-1 with Doc on the ropes. Time will tell. So we're going to have a gas first from Guluheend. He did this in his first game. Went for a... Well, the first game was kind of a disaster for Doc. We'll have to see how this one goes. This is a much smaller air distance map, so Banshees should be pretty expected from both players. Doc actually going to be scouting out very, very early, or he may be doing something of his own. I'm curious. Just making sure this... Well, this has to be... Okay, yes. He is going across, aren't you? Okay, you're going to the watchtower first. He's supposed to make sure that he did not take the gold. That's really all he wants to see. So yeah, nothing there. Okay, cool. Not choosing me that way. Once again, Doc going for this 15 gas, so just standard play here from him. It did work pretty well in last game. It's just it didn't work out so well in the prior two games. So really most likely going for the factory into a starport, into that cloak banshee sort of play. That we have seen so far. Pretty much every single game. So no surprise there. It's kind of the follow-up decision from Guluheend. It's pretty much always the different situation. What he decides to do after he gets his base set up is about it. Nice macro from Doc, making sure he can take out that SC without getting too much damage. Did Doc actually go in? I'm confused. Yes, okay. Doc did go in and see what was going on. He saw the same thing as always. Factory and barracks. Tech lab on the barracks this time, so it's a little bit different at least. He hasn't always been going for tech lab. He usually goes for a reactor on that barracks. Wait, no, this is Guluheend. What am I saying? But no, it's a little bit different. Quicker, could even just go for quicker tanks and do some sort of silly push with that. It's just going to directly make the starport onto that, so no matter. No decision like that. And again, Doc going for this command center with the reactor. And a factory finally coming out for Doc again. This is the same play that he's been doing every single game. It's just a matter of, I think Doc feels, I imagine Doc feels that he can react and deal with, well, whatever is thrown at him with this build. And he feels comfortable enough to do that. He really only lost to slight missteps in the first two games, so it's no surprise seeing him go for this build consistently. It's kind of a matter of if Guluheend can figure out a way to get through this build and really deal with it. There's a Banshee already on the way. There are a good amount of Marines already out. By the time this Banshee gets over, there should be about 8 or 9 Marines. Actually, as I said, he does lift off this barracks, and he's making a starport into Tech Lab, so he could try to go for that, what am I looking for, Raven, as soon as this Tech Lab is, or as soon as the starport is finished, so he's able to actually, you know, see those Banshees without actually having to expend all of his scans and all of his mule power on it. He is placing his Marines in a nice position to be able to deal with any Banshee on the way. I mean, the Banshee's going to be there way before a Raven is out, honestly, so this still has a chance to do a whole lot of damage. Cloak is going to be finished by the time that a Banshee gets over, and Guluheend going for a Raven of his own behind this, so this is, again, the kind of game that we saw in the first match, where Guluheend went for a Raven, followed up with a bunch of Marines. He had a few more Hellions in that game, and this is going for a Tech Lab this game, so... here we go. Banshee already into the main base, but there is a scan available on this orbital. And actually, a Viking is the first choice from Guluheend, or from Doc. Scan gonna have to go down, but there are a few Marines here. gonna be able to shoot this Banshee away, get a good amount of damage onto it, but not quite. Good micro out of Guluheend, able to control that well enough to be able to deal with those Marines. And Doc is gonna try to wait for his Viking to come out but at the same time he's already lost 7 workers. He's losing more and more workers. He will kill the Banshee, but the Banshee, 7 workers killed already. Yeah, that's a bit rough. Guluheend up 8 workers now, and he doesn't even have a natural base finished up. That's the one saving grace right now for Doc, is the fact that he does have 2 command centers. He does have the power to have 2 meals at a time, but he did lose a good number of units already. He's trying to push out with these Hellions once again, but already there's a Raven, and there's a bunch of Marines. Doc sees this. Actually, he could line this up pretty well. These Marines are all lined up. Oh, Marines, almost all of them died in 1-2 shots. 2 shots kill all of the Marines pretty much. There is a tank coming up with this, but they're not going to want to deal with that too much. So Guluheend is going to turn around, so well done there by Doc, realizing he needed to move out and do something. There is a Raven here. I doubt he's going to want to push up into this. There you go. He sees the tank. Probably going to run the heck away from that. Yes, he does. No reason to go all the way into that when you don't need to. There's another Banshee on the way, and there isn't really much back here for Doc to defend against this. Most of his army is out in the middle of the map. This Banshee is going to have free reign on the entirety of the base. There's even a Banshee coming out from Doc here, so that's a little bit of an issue, I would say. My stream, I keep lagging my stream a little bit. Hopefully that stops doing that. In-stream bait on the way, and it looks like, I'm not sure, Doc looks like he's going to try to do damage with this. This little push that he has going on here. He does have a secret missile available on the Raven, but back home he is losing so many workers again. Banshee already has 7 kills on it, so 13 kills on the workers so far. I think 1 kill at least was a mule. More and more SCVs are dying off. So while Doc has pulled back all the way to his main base, he's down 14 workers now, and he wasn't able to get any damage done into the main of Gulu, or the natural even. So these Banshees are just kind of the kryptonite here for Doc. Banshee moving around, it's going to finally die off, but they got enough kills for sure. 17 worker kills so far. And Doc is going to, once again, he's going to try to get on the map and do something. He has a Banshee of his own that's actually being very, very annoying, denying the 3rd command center for a little while, but there is a Raven here, and the Banshee not going to be able to microwave from this very well. He's a decent amount of micros, getting away from these Marines. The Banshee does have longer range than Marines, but yeah, Banshee's going to have to get out of there for now. 7 kills on that one as well. So both players controlling the Banshees well. So Guluheend's build was actually centered around getting the earlier Banshee to deal with a lot of workers very, very quickly. And now Guluheend, he's unsieging all of his tanks. Gonna move across the map. He's not gonna have any upgrades really, but Doc doesn't really have any upgrades either. Doc sees this coming, and actually the Raven sees this coming as well. Raven kind of forced to hurriedly drop a bunch of auto turrets, but now there's a bunch of Marines on top of, well, actually, Guluheend dropping behind the army. This is going not well for both players, but Doc may come out just barely ahead. He does have this Banshee. He's going to let the Banshee take care of this last tank. So neither player really taking a great engagement there, both of them pretty much resetting each other's army counts. The problem being for Doc is the fact that he still is on such a low worker count, 32 workers to 47 right now. Definitely quite a bit in favor of Guluheend right now. Doc just checking out, trying to see if there's another base somewhere. He did see the 3rd command center was started, so he kind of expected that to float over to the goal base, but that has not happened just yet. There's not a lot of AoE up here for Guluheend, but there is a lot of Marines. And these 2 Hellions aren't going to be able to do too much of anything. There's 2 tanks now. Another Banshee, I guess. Yeah, it seems like another Banshee was up here being annoying. But it has turned around and it's going back home. Doc once again trying to get himself set up for the later game, just now adding on his second 2 factories. It's kind of rough here for a blue Terran player. 89 supply to 66, a 20 worker advantage right now for Guluheend. That is absolutely massive at this point of the game. He definitely needs to take his 3rd base, because he's, well, or he could just transfer from workers up to his main, because he's got 31 workers down at his natural and only 9 up at his main. It's a little bit much. A little bit of an error mirror here for Doc. wants to try to, he probably wants to poke in and do some damage, but Marine's already setting up here for Guluheend. He actually has stem finished as well now, so he's able to get around and defend pretty easily whenever he needs to. But still, this is going to be difficult for Guluheend once again to actually be able to engage into the army that Doc has. At the moment, it's only the Hellions, so I think if Guluheend realized that it was just a Hellion army right now, he would probably push out. He doesn't really have a ton of medevacs. He does have 3, which should really be plenty, and yeah, that's kind of his cue to move out. 3 medevacs, a lot of bio with stim. Combat shield's going to finish up probably by the time this army gets across the map. Doc does see that this is coming his way. He could get a few shots off with these Hellions. They do not have blue flame, so he's not going to want to really push in there too much. Only a single Viking, really. The scan goes down from Doc. Just wants to see exactly what's going on. And, well, Guluheend's going to turn back home, it looks like, maybe. He's just checking out for a third base at the moment. He's not going to find one. That's a lot of Hellions. They're going to have blue flame here pretty soon. I still really wouldn't want to go up against this army here from Guluheend. Yeah, he's going to walk away from that. Siege up this tank. He could, well, he's got 2 tanks now, so he could siege up the position and try to take that area. Third base has landed for Doc. I'm not sure if he's going to turn that into a planetary, if he's going to turn that into an orbital. Stim goes down. Tank is in position to deal with this. Nice pickup. That means that there's nothing left over here for for Guluheend to deal with that. But Guluheend's just going to go directly into the main base and get directly on top of the production. This is a very immobile army. There are some Banshees here, which is very nice. But, well, the Hellions are so freaking fast. What am I saying? Immobile army. Usually a mech army is pretty immobile, but not when they're all Hellions. So Doc takes a nice little lead, nice little engagement. Kind of a split-second decision from Guluheend to try to do that. It almost worked out, but not quite. And now Doc is going to be able to be aggressive here. He's evened up the army count pretty much, almost exactly even. And his army is a little bit better, let's say. The medevac count got reset pretty heavily there. Losing 3 medevacs the way that Guluheend did is a pretty big deal. He now only has 2. Looks like he's gonna, well, I'm not sure what he's doing. Looks like he's trying to set up a flank here, which is definitely a good decision. He's setting himself up in a really nice position. He's got 2 tanks staged up at different locations. He does not see this coming. Guluheend's just going to sandwich his army. And there is absolutely no retreat here for Doc. Doc's entire army has evaporated. That's a bad situation to be in. Guluheend now takes 142 supply to 80 lead. 64 to 36 army supply advantage for our Orange Terran player. He does lose a tank to a Banshee. Cloak Banshee just being an annoyance. But, again, really no army left over here for Doc. Guluheend going to be on, well, 2-2 still a little bit away. He does have +2, +1. +2 armor is on the way, but still about halfway from finishing. A few more Hellions going to get caught out in the middle of the map. This army is a pretty deadly force moving across the map right now. A couple tanks going to be able to deal with the Hellions, and even this small bit of a force is able to deal with the Hellions on their own. Guluheend's going to set up in a good location, as best location as he can with his tanks. Hellions going to try to run in there and do what they can, but they're shoot away immediately by all of that bio. There aren't too many. There isn't too much here, but yeah, it's definitely enough in a good position here for Guluheend to siege up this base. Is never going to get any mining finish there. And now it's kind of up to Doc to figure out a way around all of this, but he is down 70 supply in this game right now, and looks like another massive drop attempt is going to be coming up here from Guluheend. All the Vikings are in position to deal with this, and if Guluheend decides to try to run all of his medevacs into these Vikings, that would be a disaster. Obviously a massive disaster. Loses all of that army for nothing would be a bit of an issue. That's not going to be the case, it seems. But Doc is trying to find a way into this army. Actually going to get directly on top of all of these tanks, and he's going to kill the tanks at least. He does siege up his army behind this, but there's another Bioforce waiting for all of this army behind all. And these 4 medevacs going to roll into this base, kill it off pretty easily. May even just go directly into the natural base, which would be it'll be a bit of an issue. Doc trying to do what he can, trying to turn it into Hellions to get on top of that. Not going to be possible, at least at this juncture of time. Guluheend has a tank out in the middle of nowhere, not doing what it needs to be doing, but he is going to kill this command center over at the 4th of Doc. With another dead base. There isn't really anything up here to defend. Doc forced to retreat back in the middle, but if he does that, he's going to lose it all. And yeah. Guluheend getting on top of the natural now. Yeah, there we go. GG. No production capabilities there for our blue Terran player, and Doc takes a lead. He is 1 game away from taking this series, taking the tournament.